My dear viewers and listeners, welcome to my YouTube channel Misha Impossible. My name is Mikhail Sergeyev, and today we continue our series of talks about philosophical hermeneutics. Today we are going to discuss the historical development of hermeneutics from Friedrich Schleiermacher to Wilhelm Dilthey. The term hermeneutics has as its root the Greek word hermeneia, which means interpretation. The Greek word referred to Hermes, whose mission, as the Greeks believed, was the transmission to the humans a message beyond their intelligence in a form they can comprehend. It is worthy of also mentioning that the word hermeneia had three different meanings in the Greek language, namely, number one, to say, number two, to explain, and number three, to translate. In contemporary studies, the word hermeneutics was used in several contexts. It seems to appear first around the 17th century by referring to the exegesis of biblical texts. Later, the term was also applied to interpreting those non-biblical texts that contain an esoteric or hidden meaning. Later, the field of hermeneutics was considered as general philological methodology. Next, hermeneutics was defined as the science of linguistic understanding. After that, it was interpreted as the methodological foundation of the sciences about spirit. And finally, hermeneutics was described as the phenomenology of existential understanding. Friedrich Schleiermacher's project regarding hermeneutics consisted of uniting a plurality of specialized hermeneutics into general hermeneutics as the art of understanding. He aimed to develop a hermeneutical technique that could be applied to any text, from religious scriptures to legal documents and works of art. Such hermeneutics, according to Schleiermacher, must have elaborated its principles of the understanding of language. The process of understanding has a long history of interpretation within the domain of hermeneutics itself. For Schleiermacher, for example, understanding represents a re-experiencing of the mentality of the author. According to Schleiermacher, the process of understanding has two aspects. Number one, grammatical, and number two, psychological. Understanding is a referential operation. That is, it is possible by comparison with something we already know. Thus, we understand a concept in the light of the context within which it stands. We understand a part with reference to a whole, which in its turn derives its meaning from the corresponding parts. This dialectical connection between the whole and the part came to be known as a hermeneutical circle, and it reflects the circular nature of the hermeneutical process. Hence, the very nature of understanding seems to be logically contradictory, and the working of it cannot be fully explained by logical terms. In Schleiermacher's later works, one can find an increasing tendency to separate the realm of language from the realm of thought. While the former is referred to as the domain of grammatical interpretation, the latter belongs to technical or psychological interpretation. The first focuses on objective laws. The second emphasizes the subjective side, the individuality of the author. Both these sides of interpretation are necessary and interact with each other. However, as Schleiermacher points out, the goal of hermeneutics is the reconstruction of the mental experience of the text's author, a proper understanding of his life. Generally speaking, there are two sides of hermeneutics, romantic and critical. The first appeals to a living relationship with creation. The second one is searching for the universal rules of understanding. The latter might also be called objective, so far as it concerns linguistic characteristics distinct from the author. The former might be called technical, because language here is seen as an instrument at the service of individuality. In both aspects of hermeneutics, the analysis of language plays the most crucial role. The centrality of language was also one of Schleiermacher's central themes. Initially, Schleiermacher was looking for a set of laws by which understanding operates. He thought of understanding as to the process of extracting meaning from a text. In his later works, however, he saw a final goal of hermeneutics in understanding the author's individuality, which is expressed in a particular style. Thus, later Schleiermacher was more inclined toward romantic than critical hermeneutics. Wilhelm Dilthey's hermeneutical plan was to develop strategies of acquiring objectively valid interpretation of expressions of the inner life. He was against the tendency to apply the methods of natural sciences to the sciences about spirit or to the study of human beings. The critical insight and the search for objective validity were tied up in Dilthey's thinking with the romantic desire for immediacy and totality. In some sense, these two opposite and conflictual traditions, empirical realism and life philosophy, have met in Dilthey and his project to lay the epistemological foundations of the science about spirit. The difference between human and naturalistic studies, Dilthey points out, lies in the context within which each object is understood. The former might use the same facts as the latter, but in a different network of relationships. Dilthey also claims that this difference is fundamental, not regarding the way of knowing, but rather to the content of knowledge. The external world is treated in human studies only as related to the inner human experience. Therefore, human studies provide us with an understanding of life and its approach, which unites the inner and the outer. According to Dilthey, human studies, contrary to natural sciences, deal with facts and phenomena which are meaningful only concerning the inner experience of the human person. The reconstruction of another person's experience deciphers a social historical world of shared feelings instead of the natural world of mechanistic physics. The notion of life in Dilthey's philosophy is closely connected with the theme of history and with the general anti-metaphysical context of his philosophy. Dilthey insists that human nature is not a fixed essence and is not yet determined. Human beings cannot escape history. They are acting in and through history. It is the objectification of life and not the introspection that reveals the historicality of the human condition. In Dilthey's philosophy, understanding, Verstehen in German, denotes an operation by which the mind grasps the mind of the other person. According to Dilthey, in understanding, human experience comes to its fullest realization. It opens up an experiencing of the world of another human being. Hence, by understanding, Dilthey means a process of coming to know a mental life of the other through its manifestation in the perceptible science. It is not merely an intellectual process, because it assumes a combined activity of all mental powers in apprehending. To conclude, the ultimate goal of hermeneutics, as Dilthey thinks, is to understand the author better than he or she understands himself or herself. And this concludes our second segment about philosophical hermeneutics. Please leave your questions, comments, and suggestions in the chat section under this video. Also, if you like our videos, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel and push the little bell button to receive further notifications about our new videos. Thank you for watching. Have a pleasant rest of the day and take care of yourself.